what's the benefits of all this? Let's go through this a little bit quickly, but there are a number of benefits, and I've already talked about some of them, but there's more, right? Because you're going to get short and long-term memory benefits from taking up a concentration meditation practice. You're going to discover the nature of focus and what breaks it or impedes it. So as you continue to meditate consistently over time, you'll start to notice that your awareness is segmented. It's concentric circles, like we've talked about already. And so you're going to be able to get back to certain circles in your awareness of the circles of concentration, and you'll see what breaks it. And then you'll be able to respond more like a Zen archer when, that's the thing that breaks my concentration. The arrow destroys it and you're back, right? Or when you come to an obstacle, you'll be like your own Ganesha. You'll be able to be the destroyer of those obstacles, and you won't get impeded. Or if you get impeded, you will get impeded for less and less often, right? Or less and less amounts of time. And you'll just have so much more gratitude, right? And you'll be able to take more risks. Another way of saying that is that you're going to get practice in restoring focus, but not just practice in restoring focus, but from the basis of having an understanding of what focus is in the first place as a lived experience. Then you get practice in deciding what you think and when you think it, instead of having monkey mind decide for you, right? Because so many of us have monkey mind. I've had years of suffering from monkey mind. It's no fun. And even when you do shoot that wonderful arrow, it's just in the wrong direction. That's no good. You want those arrows shooting in the right direction at a time of, your decision. Now, we're going to talk about this decision thing and make it more complicated in a bit. But at the end of the day, this is what you want to do, is think what you want to think when you want to think it, instead of having your mind roped and yanked left, right, and center just whenever the world, throws a wrench into the gears. Now, another benefit is that you're going to learn how to re-perceive, and that's part of what helps lead to better decisions. So I would love for you to read this paper, Metacognition and Mindfulness, the Role of Fringe in Consciousness, because it gives you more details on this re-perceiving concept. The link for that is in the description, so check it out. And then you might get greater willpower, and this is where we're going to talk about this idea of decision making, and it comes back to that free will thing that we're talking about, because free will doesn't really exist. There's no evidence for it. Yes, there's a lot of chin scratching. Philosophers will, and then people will say, well, according to astrophysics, blah, 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 and whatever. And there's an Atlantic article that came out not too long ago where people are now saying, this Atlantic article has totally debunked the idea that free will doesn't exist. Of course it exists. And then I say, if you think that Atlantic is a journal that can debunk anything, you don't have free will yet, because you've just been yanked into monkey mind, collective monkey mind, right? There is no Atlantic journal that debunks anything. It just doesn't happen. Atlantic is not a source of debunking. So this is something to understand. Anyway, I don't want to get lost in the weeds of free will, but I want you to understand that you will have a greater ability to have acts of will. And that's because you're going to understand the difference between choice and selection. Because choice creates great misery. Oh, I wish I had the power to choose, or whatever. There's no power to choose. You are born, you don't choose your parents, and then karma takes over. You're just constantly facing the pressures of the laws of reality, right? You've got to eat. This is no choice. Just have to. You've got to breathe. No choice. You just have to. Da, 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 da. Inside of your field of awareness, you're going to have many selections to make. The quality of the selections you make has a lot to do with the field of your awareness, how big it is, how well practiced it is, and how cultivated it is through constant study, constant implementation of how to improve your life from what you study, and then constant practice with, the kinds of things that you learn and memorize and so forth. So you've got to select better. And you've got to use acts of will in order to select. But there's no choice in the matter. It's really, really important. So you're going to get a benefit out of this by seeing this distinction, dealing with the things that you can't change, accepting them, and then really focusing on your acts of will to select better in life, right? So you've made the choice to be here, but you've really selected it, right? and I want to honor you for selecting this. But it's a language thing, and it's worth getting into the semantics sometimes because you really didn't choose it. You selected it from a field of potential things. And I want to honor you and congratulate you for making this choice because it's a good one, right? And if you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, do so now so that all the robots know that it's a good one, because robots should join us too. But the reality is it was selected. And one of the things I notice in my day is if I don't close down the field and narrow it down and focus it, I get yanked all the time. And oh, well, I'm doing this, but oh, I got a notification about that. Bam, next thing you know, I'm watching somebody's live stream, right? And that could be a good selection or it could be a bad one. But at the end of the day, there's no choice in it because just things appear in the field. And then you have to decide how to do it. So you can improve how you decide. You also get benefit of more patience in life. So I always think of the Eckhart Tolle example in Power of Now, where he's always he's saying about how you could just be more patient, like when someone's doesn't show up on time. Instead of getting angry, you could just say, I wasn't waiting for you. I was just enjoying, just waiting, which is a great thing, right? It's a great attitude to have. And so you'll have that from concentration meditation, because I find that when I'm waiting for people and I just sit there and I just pay attention to the present moment, just like I'm not waiting at all. Like, look at all this. Wow, there's like a tree here. Amazing. So arguably part of why it's so amazing is because of all these chemicals that get switched on when you meditate consistently. Sam Harris, in his podcast episode with Daniel Kahneman, called it heroin level meditation. And I don't know if that's the best possible analogy for it, but man, it feels good. So get into it, and there's some research that shows that the chemicals that are produced when you meditate consistently and you do these concentration meditations, as opposed to other stuff, they are related to some of the drugs that people take, like peyote and all that jazz. And having taken a lot of hallucinatory drugs in my day, I can tell you there's definitely a relationship. So, if you want to be high all the time, do this. Do these concentration things, and you don't need to take drugs. You don't need to take drugs. More benefits. Mental minimalism. So that comes from, I'm repeating myself a little bit here, but it comes from removing thoughts that do not serve. And we'll talk about a simple meditation that you can do in a bit that will help with that. And also to have the courage to remove objects. So one of the reasons why people have so much junk in their mind is they have so much junk in their environment, and it's very hard for them to get rid of clutter. And the two go together, right? But if you could have more courage to remove clutter from your life, you would probably have fewer thoughts, be very, very free. Another benefit is that you'll probably find that you spend more time on higher order projects, right? Because a lot of people, they are spending so much time in the engine room of life, the death by 1,000 paper cuts kind of stuff, right? Instead of creating a vision for their life, spending time on creating a vision, setting objectives so that you can achieve the vision, and then organizing your time so that the objectives that you set actually get done, right? And so this is a very, very important thing. And the more you meditate, the more likely you're going to see these higher order topics, spend more time on them, and then actually get some traction in life. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't you like that? Wouldn't you like to be able to have a vision for your life and set objectives that enable you to realize that vision and organize your time so that you can? Concentration meditation will help you because you need to concentrate to create a vision. You need to concentrate to set objectives, and you need to concentrate to organize your time. Concentration meditation will get you that. It'll get you there.